Justin, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. I've seen the film. I have to get straight to it. I personally think it just ended too soon, you know, because there's a lot of explosions, lots of cars, plenty of women. How was it? How different was it to, you know, making Tokyo Drift to this actual Fast and Furious?
Well, I think that you never want to repeat, or at least for me, you don't want to repeat the same thing. Yeah. You know, it might be the same franchise, but you want to have new challenges, or else it gets very boring fast. You know, I think part of this was the challenge was getting all the actors, convincing them to come back, and then, you know, when it comes to that, and then you try to hopefully design the stunt work and everything, all the action sequences, and try to up the ante on it.
What do you want? Give me a name! Give me a name!
I know a film like this with loads of explosion brings a lot of attention on location. And I know a story about you having a few issues with the police in Japan, you know, when you guys were on location.
How'd you find out?
Oh, I've got my people. I've got my people, Justin. But, you know, did you face any obstacles in filming this film?
This one wasn't as bad as Tokyo. Tokyo, there's just rules and you have to break it and people go to jail and stuff like that. But nobody went to jail on this one.
And obviously you brought back the original cast, and that was inspired by having, you know, Vin Diesel appear as a cameo in Tokyo Drift. I mean, why do you think he plays such an important part, apart from the others being the lead in the film, in this series?
You know, I think there is something about it, because I think thematically what ties it together is this idea of family, a construct of family, and what that means. And he's kind of, in a way, the father figure, you know, and I think not having seen him since the very first one, and having been in that room in the third one when people, you know, the energy just exploded, you realize, oh, that's someone that people want to see how he's doing now, and where is he going to go from now. And that became very interesting to me.
I'm going with you.
I ain't coming back.
This is where my jurisdiction ends.
And this is where mine begins.
There's a lot of brilliant scenes in the film, I have to admit, but my favorite has got to be the tunnel. That tunnel scene, it scared me. Now, I have to say it scared me. I'm not usually a guy that gets frightened to watching films, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty strong-hearted. But that scared me. I just want to know, was that a real tunnel? How did you put the tunnel together, you know?
You know, it took a lot of hard work from many different people in different departments around the world, really. Because when we first went, I went to this town, Guanajuato, in Mexico, and underneath they had tunnels, and you just can't shoot in a real tunnel because the walls don't move, and you don't have, you know, you only have a couple interesting angles, and that's all you got. But when we went back, I could see everyone's eyes light up when I said, it's never been done, let's try something to make it work. And so we ended up having to build our own tunnel into 4 sections so that we can get the right lighting, and also we can drive the cars at fast speed, and if I needed certain angles, I can move the walls. But at the same time, because it's going at the cars are going at such high speed that if they go out of control and they crash, these walls will collapse with them. So there were many elements, and we had to find a very long, like one of the longest warehouses in the world to build the tunnel, because we had to shoot it in the daytime, and we had to make sure that, you know, we had to black it out so that when after every shot, we had to open it up to air it out because all the fumes and stuff. So it took a lot of planning to get that accomplished.
So there's no major injuries or anything like that on set?
I think one of the stunt guys that got pushed out of the car, he unfortunately broke his arm.
Oh, dear.
But the shot looks cool, so I think they live for those shots.
What's to stop someone from telling them you're a cop?
The same thing that's keeping me from telling them why you're really here.
Considering, you know, you had a few issues in Japan, because I heard they don't really give out permissions to shoot on location, I've come up with an idea. Because here in England, you know, you still haven't done a Fast and Furious here in England, and we've got an area called Brixton, which is in South London. Now, the idea is that you should incorporate all the different transport systems that we have here. So we've got the underground system, and usually have a travel card, Oyster card type of thing. So my scene, I think I could play a part in it. I could be just the guy that sorts out the tickets. But I was thinking, as I said to you when I saw you at the red carpet, I could be a Vin Diesel double, because I'm bold, you know, and I've got the look, and you know Vin's got the sort of look. So I was thinking, come out the station, touch the Oyster card, it's not working, you jump over the barrier, and you come through, stop for a black cab, the black cab doesn't stop, you go on top of the black cab, and jump on top of the red bus, and then suddenly you just catch your villain. How could that work for the 5th part for you?
I think that sounds, we can do something like that. I think you do that.
You could do that?
Yeah.
And I've got the bold look, so do you think the look works for me as a Vin? Just in case Vin gets injured, I'm thinking, because every now and then you've got those scenes where the camera just pans across him and he just looks, thinking, I'm gonna get that Phoenix. I'm gonna beat Walker. What do you think?
I think, I always carry, I always have a box.
Right.
It's not a penalty box. I just have a box with a lot of guys with bald heads.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and if he's jumping off a building or something, I just pull one of them and I just push him off.
So I could be part of
So
that.
you can be part of the box.
Part of the box.
Yes.
Well, one of the first films you made was Better Luck Tomorrow, and that was 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has that differed from how's that different to how far you've come now? Obviously making really high budget films, because I heard you spent money personally to make the film yourself. I mean, tell us about it.
It was at a point where I just finished film school, and I thought that I had learned and I was ready to be a filmmaker, but nobody believed in me, and I didn't know anybody in the industry. So I wrote a script, and nobody would fund it or anything, and I really felt like that could, that's something I wanted to do, and I was passionate about it. And so I ended up just taking 10 credit cards, and I went into super debt. I sold my truck. I was, sleeping on friends' floors and stuff like that, and made it, and it got into Sundance, and then it got picked up by Paramount and MTV, and it changed my life, and that's the one great thing I think about this industry is that, I think anybody from any background, ethnically, economically, whatever, if you believe in something, I do think that you can go and earn your spot, and having gone from there to the next film where I show up on set and we spend the whole budget, half a day of that film, the scope of it is amazing. But yet, at the end of the day, it reminds me that, no matter what, you're still crashing cars and stuff. It's still about the script, and you have to work very hard to try to at least respect that process.
And if you had to tell me one sentence, what makes a good director?
I think it's someone that can that prepares a lot so that he can be spontaneous. I think that you have all these different moving parts, and if you're too rigid, you're not gonna get everything, because you're not gonna be empowering other people. But you have to know, I think, where you're trying to get to, and you need to fight at the appropriate time. You have to find the right fight, and sometimes you're gonna get physical, sometimes you gotta get loud, but if you're passionate and you're doing it for the right reasons and you work with the right people, you can grow. And I hope that, as I keep making movies, or I have opportunity to make movies, hopefully I find more people like that, so that down the road I get to really work with people of like mind.
A lot has changed.
You're right.
And before I go, there will be a fifth part. I'm sure you're tempted.
I know that everyone's talking about it, and I think we'll see how this one does. I think if the viewers feel like they really want to see one, I think there's still areas to explore with the characters. So we'll see. I feel like, like we talked about earlier, also globally there's still a lot to be explored too. So we'll see.
Well, thank you very much. We do want you in London. Thank you very much, Justin.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Thank you.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Dom?